Hi, Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you fragrances that work in the high heat. Now, it has been so cold here all June, so we barely got up to a 20 Celsius, and now all of a sudden summer has burst forth and we have really hot weather. Like right now, I'm so hot. I'm glowing. I'm big time glowing. But anyway, yeah, it's going to get up into the the 30s. And so for me, that's too hot. I prefer like 23 Celsius is about all I can handle. I was a shade girl my whole life. My sisters would be out there in the sun just getting a glorious tan back in the day, back in the 80s when tanning was allowed. So they would be tanning away and I would be like completely covered or sitting in the shade because I could not handle the heat. It would make me feel sick. I am just so fair. So I really struggled, and yeah, I'm hot. Anyway, you know, a lot of countries, they're hot all the time. And so this weather would be considered just regular for them. But for anyone that is in a cooler climate where, you know, up into the high 20s, into the 30s is really, really warm. I find that if I have a perfume that's too thick, I just feel really it makes me feel sick in the heat. So I want something in this kind of weather that's energizing, that's cooling, that's delicious, but not too heavy. I've got almost 10 that I think are just fantastic for any sort of really hot weather. I can't wait to share them with you. But before I get started, if you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and hit that button, join the Weird and Wonderful family. It would be amazing to have you part of the community, and let's get into this. I'm going to start with the most affordable, and these are such an awesome deal. I got both of these for $6.99 on, I think, FragranceNet a few years back. They vary in price, but it's the Elizabeth Arden Green Tea line. Now, so many of them are awesome. There's lots of different ones to choose from. I have Pear Blossom, I have Nectarine Blossom, and Pomegranate. Now, these are my two favorites, and I love these. So this one, even though it says Nectarine Blossom, it just reminds me of a peach green tea. So I really enjoy this one. It's not too sweet. It gives me a little bit of that fruity feel, and it's quite cooling and a little bit relaxing, this one. Now, the Pomegranate one, it has pomegranate, but it also has raspberry. So to me, this one comes across way more raspberry than pomegranate, but it's just this tart, juicy fruit. I find this one really energizing. I don't have a favorite. I enjoy them both. And when it's really, really hot, this gives me that burst of beautiful fragrance without making me feel just sick. Because if I've got fragrance on in the heat, I have to be careful. Like the worst experience I ever had was I put L'Interdit by Givenchy on, and that one's quite a thick, syrupy tuberose pear combination. And it got really, really hot. And I was driving in the car, and I don't know if the air conditioning wasn't working right or what. I was in the back seat driving with people. I don't know what the deal was, but I remember getting very, very sick from the fragrance. I got a headache. And then that just progressed. So that one's been iffy for me for a while. And that's the worst thing is, you know, loving a fragrance, wearing it in the heat, and then having it not work for you anymore because it was just too much. And now you feel sick every time you smell it. So I don't want that to happen. So these ones are fantastic, super affordable. They're really a glorified body spray, like a body splash kind of thing. So there's nothing fancy about them. They don't last long. If you can get them for like under 15 bucks, I think that they're totally worth it. Of course, you can use Bath and Body Works sprays too, but these ones are a little bit longer lasting than something like a Bath and Body Works. And yeah, I just really like that green tea base. It's kind of just very relaxed, spa-like, but then I like the fruity components with them. So yeah, love these two. One of my new favorites for this kind of weather is by Olfactive Studios, and it is called Still Life in Rio. Now, this is such an amazing fresh green fragrance, very energizing and invigorating again. So this has yuzu, lemon, ginger, mint, and orange in the top. In the middle, it has coconut, black pepper, and pink pepper. The base is rum, copaiba balm, and leather. Now, I don't get any of the leather in here. I get a lot of that greenness. It smells kind of limey / lemony. It has yuzu and lemon. I get more of a lime feel in this. I think it's probably because of the mint and ginger added in there. Doesn't smell super lemony to me. It comes across more limey somehow. And I just think lime coconut rum drink when I smell this. And all of these fragrances that I'm mentioning, none of them have kind of a creamy base to them. What I like in a hot summer fragrance is something that smells a lot more clear. So when I smell this, I think of something like a vodka spritzer or something like that, where you've got some lime and some mint crushed into it, but you can smell the booze just a little bit. I just love this fragrance. It's totally unisex. The longevity is moderate, so you're going to get 5-6 hours out of it. It projects nicely, but it's so energizing and invigorating, but it's not fleeting. So sometimes with fragrances like this, they're going to last like 2 hours and then they're gone, that kind of thing. This one gives you at least 5 hours. So from that perspective, I really enjoy this one. I am really excited to explore the Olfactive Studios line because there's so many cool fragrances. So love this one. Yeah. What about you? Have you tried any of them? There is one called Still Life, which is similar. I haven't tried that one. If you have, weigh in. If you smelt this one, weigh in and tell me what you think. But I just think it's so refreshing, energizing, amazing. Now, this is an oldie but a goodie. And you know what? Dolce & Gabbana, really, they're a solid designer fragrance brand. Like, they just kill it with the fragrances. So often they come out with so many good ones. And I have like quite a few Dolce & Gabbana fragrances. And they're some of my favorite fragrances. This one is harder and harder to get, but I love it so much. And it is 3 L'Impératrice by Dolce & Gabbana. Now, I have smelt the straight up L'Impératrice, and that's the one that I am going to link because it's almost impossible to find this one. This is just a delicious kind of aquatic strawberry rhubarb watermelon-y type vibe fragrance. 3 L'Impératrice, or I think it's 3 L'Impératrice, 3 L'Impératrice. In any case, this fragrance has kiwi, rhubarb, pink pepper, watermelon, cyclamen, jasmine, lemon tree, musk, and sandalwood. Now, L'Impératrice has watermelon, strawberry, peony, damask rose, magnolia, cyclamen, musk, woody notes, sandalwood, and smoke. So they're slightly different. This one is definitely a little bit more tart. I enjoy both. What I love about them is you get this watermelon-y kind of slightly powdery, musky fruit and it smells almost as if you've taken the fruit and you've put it in water. And so I don't know, it's just so refreshing. It's so relaxing. It's honestly one of my favorite fragrances for summer. I just can't get enough of it. And even though this one is quite fleeting, it's like 4 hours. If you really spray, like go ham, I find that this one lasts longer than that. Like I can smell it on my skin for about 8 hours actually, but it doesn't project much after about the 4 hour mark. But I love this fragrance so much. So this one doesn't have strawberry. It's got rhubarb, watermelon, and kiwi, whereas the original L'Impératrice, which I think is fantastic, has water and strawberry, a little bit more floral, but they're very, very similar. They're just this slightly aquatic, refreshing, fruity, musky fragrance, and I love it in the heat. Being we're talking watermelon, one of my absolute favorites currently for summer, like I just absolutely love it. Like every time I put it on, I'm happy, is Wave Child by Room 1015. The main notes that I get in this are a little bit of citrus in the opening, and then the absolute best watermelon fragrance I've ever smelled. So I really enjoy the watermelon in this one, and they're a little bit similar. The watermelon note is good in both, but the watermelon is definitely more prominent in this one. And it is so sexy. Where 3 L'Imperatrice doesn't last that long on the skin, this lasts for like about 7-8 hours. It projects beautifully. This is so sexy. So it's somehow a watermelon kind of fruity. And when I think watermelon, a lot of times I think a little bit more youthful. Anybody could wear this. It's not like it's va-va-voom. Well, no, it is. It's va-va-voom. Like, it just smells so delicious. Somehow the watermelon mixed with the coconut, mixed with ambergris and the cacao. It's just so phenomenal. I just love it. It's a sexy watermelon. I never knew they could make a watermelon sexy, but they totally nailed it with this one. It's such a freaking amazing fragrance. So honestly, what I would probably do, wear this at the beach. You're somewhere hot. You're like out, you've got like some sort of wrap on, you're looking gloriously tropical, and you've got this on and you smell so refreshing and slightly musky, a little bit sexy here too. But then the evening comes and you want to amp up that watermelon. You want to smell like you should be devoured. You throw this one on and seriously, it's somehow the sexiest watermelon that ever lived. Like, it's so, so good. So highly recommend this one. Like, if there was ever a watermelon fragrance to get, it would be this one because it's so succulently amazing. Like, so good. Now, I wanted to mention one floral that I think is great in the heat, and I know it is because I wore it when I was in Kelowna and it was like plus 34 the whole entire time. And at first I thought, oh, I wonder how this one's gonna do. It was phenomenal. And of course, there's tons of fragrances that you can wear in the heat, floral, fruity, whatever, but Prada La Femme is absolutely fantastic. So this one is classy. There's some yellow florals in here. There's some tuberose. There's carrot seeds. It's got some iris in here. There's beeswax, vanilla, a little bit vetiver. There's some spiciness in here. So what I find is it starts to warm up on the skin and it's just a little bit spicy. A spicy yellow floral mix. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. Somehow it's a little bit solar. The florals, sometimes florals can just be too thick, too much in the heat, but somehow the heat just makes this blossom. It's very interesting. It's very bougie smelling. And when I smell this one, I always think of some major corporate executive, Miranda Priestly. I think of her going on vacation and she's staying in this beautiful villa that's just on the ocean. She walks out onto her cobblestone-ish type deck thing. I don't know what you'd call it. Anyway, it's where her chaise lounge is, and then she calls Yacht Boy over. You know, he follows her basically everywhere, and she's like, "Can you get me some grapes? Can you fan me?" Like, it's that kind of fragrance. So super luxurious. The woman that wears this, she doesn't wear flip-flops. She wears high heels. Like, even on the beach, this chick is wearing high heels. Actually, she doesn't walk across sand. Someone carries her. But she smells rich and luxurious and slightly intoxicating, but also like she could probably eat you for breakfast because she's still a killer in business and will state her mind at all times. So this fragrance, super bougie, but somehow works amazing in the heat. I've got 3 more for you. First one, again, Dolce & Gabbana. This is Light Blue, Love is Love. I love this one. Light blue doesn't work for me. If light blue worked for me, that would definitely be on the list because it's fantastic in the heat. From what I understand, light blue intense smells the best. It just smells so rancid on my skin, but this one smells so amazing. Oh, I love it. I love the raspberry. It smells like a raspberry lemon sorbet with just a drop of kind of a creaminess in there, but overall it's still clear. You get that lemon. It's kind of mouth-watering, super energizing. And I find this one lasts about 4 or 5 hours. Again, I overspray, and so it works kind of similar to this. I get about the same longevity out of these two, but I love this for summer. Every time I put it on, it just makes me happy. Caprice de Jeanne by Chabot Maison de Parfum is one of my new fragrances. This one is absolutely beautiful. It's, again, bright, juicy, energizing, but then you have this gorgeous kind of woody base in there as it dries down, which I find super sexy again. This has a ton of notes. It's got lychee, pink pepper, pear, mandarin orange, black currant, raspberry, cherry, flowers, rose, patchouli, cashmere wood, musk oud, cedar, and amber. I don't really notice any pear. I guess I would get a little bit of tartness, so maybe some lychee. I noticed the cherry for sure. I also noticed black currant and a little bit of raspberry. Really, really enjoy this. I don't find it too floral. This one is a little bit floral, but not too floral. Definitely the fruits come out more. But what I really enjoy about this is as it dries down on the skin, you start to get some of those woods coming through, so it's kind of sexy. This one again, longevity, probably 5-6 hours. I can't ever tell, like, I'll put it on one time and, I'll notice it throughout the day. Other times I don't. So I'd say a good 5-6 hours, so moderate. But I really enjoy this one. I think it's beautiful. I love the Caprice line. So this one, Jeulia, I need to try the other ones. Jeulia, I want it so bad. Blueberry and watermelon, so amazing. If you want a refreshing blueberry fragrance for summer, that one is just incredible. Love it. And the last one that I think is great for high heat is French Kiss by Bozo. This one smells green and refreshing. It's got verbena in it. And I just really enjoy it. It took me a while to wrap my head around this one because all I saw was the corn note. But when you think about corn, if you smell corn, there's a sweetness to it, almost like a little bit of an earthy sweetness if you just smell corn on the cob. Not popcorn, but corn on the cob, like maybe not cooked even. So a little bit of green sweetness. To me, this feels so relaxing, cooling. This does have quite a lot of floral in it. So it's got lemon, verbena, and neroli. I don't really notice the neroli as much as that verbena in there. It's got corn, fig, magnolia, barberry, saffron, and cherry blossom in the heart. And then the base is pearwood, meringue, and amber. I find that this lasts forever on the skin. Like, it lasts a long time, but it doesn't feel overpowering. I love the greenness of the verbena. I don't really notice any fig. I don't really notice the florals either. I get the verbena, kind of this green aspect. I definitely get that corn feel somehow. Although there's a lot of florals in this, I don't find that it gets uber floral. To me, it stays a little bit green, a little bit sweet, super relaxing, almost spa-like. The only thing I would say about this one is it is definitely different, so I wouldn't consider it mass appealing, not blind buy safe by any means. But if you want something that's unique, that's elevated, slightly different, this is definitely a fantastic one. And yeah, fantastic in the heat. So that is it. What about you guys? What are your favorite fragrances for the hot, hot, hot weather? I would love to know. And other than that, I hope you have an amazing week, and we'll talk to you soon.